I wasn't prepared or experienced enough to navigate this new fame alone. It is different growing up as an actor in Canada, especially when I did. Canada didn't have the glossy cover. We weren't so obsessed with being shiny. The insistence to mask up mostly came with Juno. I was planning on wearing jeans and a western-ish shirt to Juno's world premiere. I thought it was a cool look, and it had a collar. That's fancy, right? I thought. When the Fox Searchlight publicity team learned about my outfit, they urgently took me to Holt Renfrew on Bloor Street, with a dramatic rushing that is characteristic of the Hollywood circulatory system. I suggested a suit. They said I should wear a dress and heels. After they discussed this with the director, he called me. He said he agreed with them, insisting that I play the part. Michael Cera rocked sneakers, slacks, and a collared shirt. He looked fancy to me. I wonder why they didn't take him to Holt Renfrew. I guess he had nothing to hide. He was approved. He fit the part. Being made to feel that I was inadequate, erroneous, the little queer who needed to be tucked away while being celebrated for repudiating myself was a slippery slope I'd been sliding down since before I could remember. I finished my second drink and popped out to smoke a joint. Cera followed. "When did you know?" she asked as we stood outside, leaning against a wall. She loomed over me. For a brief moment I wondered what she meant. This is something I'm asked frequently, and not something I wish for during a casual night out. I'd experienced this inquiry as a queer woman, but as a trans guy it's perpetual. Code for, I don't believe you. I knew when I was 4 years old. I went to the YMCA preschool in downtown Halifax on South Park Street across from the public gardens. The building had a dark brick facade and has since been demolished and replaced. Primarily, I understood that I wasn't a girl. Not in a conscious sense, but in a pure sense. Uncontaminated. That sensation is one of my earliest and clearest memories. The bathroom was down the hall from my preschool class. I would try to pee standing up, assuming this to be the better fit for me. I would press on my vagina, holding it, pinching and squeezing it, hoping I could aim. I befouled the stall, but the bathroom often smelled of urine anyway. I was perplexed by my experience, severed from the other girls, twists in my stomach when I gazed at them. There was the director who groomed me when I was a teenager. His frequent texts made me feel special, as did the books he gifted me. He took me to dinner at Swan on Queen West. Stroking my thigh under the table, he whispered, "You have to make the move. I can't." On a project not long before, a crew member had done the same. In between takes, he would talk to me about art and films, Kubrick, naturally. He invited me to hang out on a Saturday afternoon. After a walk in the rain, he grabbed me, asserting we go upstairs. Pulling me into his body, I could feel his hard cock against me. My friend's birthday party was in full swing, and I tried to channel the same lightness I'd felt only a few weeks back. I sat outside on one of the benches on the patio, nursing a tequila soda. I caught up with friends and acquaintances I had not seen in ages. Even met some new people. I was enjoying myself. An acquaintance of mine arrived, already quite inebriated. He walked out onto the terrace. I said hello. We sometimes saw each other at the gym. His energy was different tonight. Harsh. He began by insulting my personality, which, okay, go for it. But then it moved into another territory. "I see what you're doing. I'm not stupid. I see what you're doing." He stood too close, staring down at me where I sat. "What am I doing?" I answered flatly, more confused than anything, at his aggression, his malevolent smile. "Oh, please, it's obvious what you're doing, the attention." I was familiar with this tone, this body language, threatening but casual, flaunting his power. But it took me a moment to process what he might be alluding to. Is this about me being gay? Spurred, somehow provoked, he sat on the bench next to me and started to lay in. "That doesn't exist. You aren't gay. You're just afraid of men." He said it ruthlessly, loud but with a smile, gloating. Responding was useless. It was making it worse. He just kept going. People were telling him to stop, but he didn't, and they gave up. I stood up and crossed to the other side of the terrace, trying to remove myself from the situation. He followed, sitting next to me again, his body close. "You're just afraid of men. Men are predators, and you're just afraid of them." He spoke to me as if no opinion mattered but his own, a stroke of wisdom to bestow upon me. Wasted slurs of words vomited out of his body as my body compacted, elbows on alert. I told him to stop harassing me, to fuck off, that he was being extremely offensive. I got up again and went inside. He pursued behind. I sat down on a small sofa and he did too. People danced to the Spring Breakers soundtrack, breaking it down to scary monsters and nice sprites. "Look at this. I'm a coward too. You don't need to hide, my friend, for I'm just like you. I'm gonna fuck you to make you realize you aren't gay. I'm gonna lick your asshole. It's gonna taste like lime. You're not gay," he slurred. He kept describing how he was gonna fuck me, touch me, lick me, how he liked to pity fuck women. I don't know why I didn't demand he leave, ask for people to do more than, "Yo, leave her alone." Some of my closest friends were there witnessing it. Power works in funny ways. He was and still is one of the most famous actors in the world. I got up and walked to the bathroom. Nervous he was following me, I closed the door and locked it. I sat down on the toilet and looked out the window at the trees, the light from the terrace just barely reaching them. I wondered if anyone could see in, which reinforced a certain aloneness. I stayed on the toilet longer than I needed to, washed my hands, and then left the party. The incident went on for so long and so many people saw and heard that the following day a friend of mine who wasn't at the party got a text from another friend who wasn't at the party saying, "I heard he was horrible to Ellen last night." A few days later, I was upstairs at the gym on the treadmill. I was watching the news as I ran by myself when I heard his voice. I'm not sure how he knew I was upstairs, but he came bounding up. "People are saying I need to apologize to you, but I don't remember anything. I'm not like that at all. I'm not prejudiced. I don't know why that happened. I'm sorry. I don't remember anything." I didn't stop running or slow down. "You clearly have a problem with gay people. You were saying horrific things to me. And not that I care about the consequences you would face, but you're just lucky no one filmed that," I responded. "I really don't have a problem with gay people, I swear." My feet pounded. "I think you might." He stood there stunned. He said sorry again and again. I've seen him a couple times since. He barely says hi, and neither do I. I sensed spite from some people in the industry, hostility even. That flash of aggression, hidden in jokes, blamed on alcohol, the sexual harassment dismissed. I remember sitting in a former agent's office, thrilled that Vice wanted to make Gaycation. We'd be in Japan in just a couple months to film the first episode. When one of the major players of the agency walked in, I shared the news. "We get it, you're gay," he responded instantly. It's as if there's a need to trivialize such endeavors, unwilling to acknowledge experiences that are not their own, unwilling to listen. It's 2022, springtime. I just had dinner with a friend and was headed back to my hotel in West Hollywood. Walking back, heading east along Sunset Boulevard, I texted Madison. A mutual friend had set us up about a month before. She is smart, compassionate, fun, and our sex was unbridled yet safe. Perhaps the most uninhibited sex I've had. This new body offering a grounding, a presence. Enjoying things I never thought I would. Feeling queer than ever. How deeply freeing to have someone love fucking my dick and my pussy and permitting myself to enjoy it. No longer frozen. That undercurrent. The wanting to flee. When Madison arrived, we immediately started to kiss. A physical chemistry that takes control, magnets sucking. I moved down her body to my knees, her hand resting on my head, ever so slightly pulling my hair. We had sex for hours and then slept deeply. I almost always wake up around 6, and I snuck out of the room, trying not to wake her. I drank coffee and sat at my computer to write. I love the early morning, the quiet, a certain kind of healthy loneliness. A reminder? Madison joined me at the table at 9:30. Her sweatpants and vintage t-shirt made me hard. I have a thing for sweatpants. "I think I'm gay," I said once while we were fucking. Closed off, disassociated, not even performative. "No, you're not," he responded, continuing with the pumps. The first time I tried to speak to my mom about sexuality, it didn't go very well. I was 15 and coming to terms with how attracted I was to women, only letting myself think of them when I was alone. Searching online, am I gay? How do I know if I'm gay? There was no need to avert my eyes from my male peers. They did not titillate me. My nerves hummed around certain girls. I'd have to avoid them. It must be so obvious, I'd worry. I was in the passenger seat, head down, mustering up my strength. I turned to my mother. Her eyes were on the road. Her silver earrings dangled, not quite reaching her jawline, swaying with the car's movement. "Mom, I think I might be gay." "That doesn't exist," she yelled before I'd completed the word. My body sank in the passenger seat. The air sucked from me. I hung my head. She looked forward again, and neither of us said another word about it. Despite my feelings, I pursued boys. There was a cute guy who had dirty blonde hair and an interesting face with piercing eyes and a strong jaw. I did not necessarily enjoy kissing him, but I loved the adventure of it, the potential. Maybe I can like a boy. We did not spend much time together in junior high, but the intimidation of this new frontier found us leaning on each other. Or perhaps he just wanted his dick sucked. The bathroom was vacant, soundless. We crept in, whispering, and sped into a stall, looking at each other with mischievous smirks. Lips smacking, he put his hand on my breasts. My nipples grew hard. Fussing with his pants, he zipped open the fly and pulled his cock out, perky and firm. He spit on his hand to moisten his dick, stroking it until my hand replaced his. "Will you suck it?" he asked, his eyes begging for it. I got on my knees. Holding his penis, I lined it up with my mouth, opening wide, inviting it in. Our extracurricular activities were typically focused on his pleasure. A staggered return to class, him first, me second. I wanted to be in Nikki's friend circle, but I wasn't, not quite yet. My French class escapades started to taper off. The thrill faded, sensation not outweighing risk. And you can't be going to the bathroom the same time every class or le professeur will catch on.